Hello! We're going to talk ground radios today, and to be fair, there's really one radio that does it for me, and it's this. This is the RadioMaster MT12, full HTX screen and config there. Runs ELRS, and you can fit external modules to it. It's got extra switches, extra access if you want them. It's a great radio. So when Bangor contacted me and said, hey, would you like to review this FlySky FS-G7P? I said, I don't think so, because this is your ultimate radio. And then they said, well, maybe this is the right thing for budget people that don't need this radio, so could you give it a go? And I was like, fair enough. So we could think of this as like our ultimate FPV radio with lots of telemetry, and it does long range. But for many people, you just want a half decent ground radio for your line of sight stuff, because generally speaking, if you've got a 1/10 scale car and you drive it 100 meters away, which may be on the edge of a regular radio, you really can't see anything. So that's about as far as you want to go. So let's have a look at it. This is the FlySky F7G7P Plus. What a catchy name. And let's have a look inside, see what we get. In that box is a bunch of cardboard featuring this radio. It has got on it your normal wheel, trigger. It's got a couple of little switches and dials, power button there, more potentiometers, big screen. There's no batteries in it. It comes with a space for 4 AA's. Also in the box, a small but useful written manual. And this box, which contains this little receiver. I say little receiver, it appears to have like 11 channels of PWM connectors, and one says sense and servo. Maybe that's for power. I don't know, we'll have to look that up. So let's fit some batteries, go into close up, have a look at some of the things it can do, and then we'll fit it to something and drive it around. Now, just before getting into this, it's worth mentioning that there is a full manual, and it's pretty good. It seems to go through all the settings and stuff. I figured the stuff out I want to do without looking at it. I should also mention, because I found from that there is a little JST connector here, so instead of using batteries you can plug in a 2S LiPo. Need to be quite thin to fit in there, but it will go in there. We have got a whole bunch of buttons and switches. Got one there, got a three-way switch there, another there, we've got a momentary here, that's potentiometer, that is a 5-way trim, this is the menu button, got that wrong, and this is the power button. If we switch it on, you have got a basic black and white LCD screen, and you can move about with this. So if you go upwards, we have a channel monitor, and then if we go right from there, we can go through the various settings. This is for the radio itself. This is for the model. What you could do is select your model from there. If we press that, as you see, I've set up my twister. There are, I think, 20 model memories set on here. Yep, and then you always go about that way, and you can name it and copy it and all that stuff. This stuff is so you can set various things on your car. I haven't gone through all this. Some of it's a little bit more obvious. You've got stuff like, this is like reversing channels if you want to. They're all normal at the moment. I don't know what EPA is. You've got idle up, engine cut. You've got the channel speed, which might be useful for ramping things up. You can set up dual rates, that sort of thing. There are throttle curves on there. You can set up your aux channels to do various things. You can do mixes, timer, very useful if you're racing. And this is switch assign. I actually managed to sort myself out a switch. I set up switch number 1, which is this one here, as a sort of arm switch. So that is arm, that is disarm. So I've got it linked. Yeah, I've got it linked to engine cut. So basically it means the motor won't go if I haven't got it down. It's kind of my arm switch, if you like. If we're down, we've got telemetry here. All we've got at the moment is the TX voltage. You can assign different things to those. And the main screen is pretty good. You've got basically your 2 channels you're interested in, your throttle. Oh, hang on. throttle and steering, and you've got your rates along the bottom there, your timer, and that's at 5 volts for the radio itself. What I went and did is I went and stuck the receiver in here, and I just linked up channel 1 and channel 2. Channel 2 is going to the ESC for throttle, channel 1 is going to my steering, and over here I've linked up in a bit of a doohickey way, I'll solder that later. This is for telemetry for the power, so I've got that at the moment linked to, well, I've got it so if I shove my balance lead in, this used to be connected to my VTX. I've taken all that off for now. If we power this up, so if we sit that there, you can see that we're all connected. That's not powered on, nothing happens. Arm it and it does stuff. You should also notice here, if we zoom in a bit to make it a bit easier to see, we've got RX 7.9, so this is talking about our RX battery in there, hence by connecting that cable up to here we get that RX power, which I think is pretty useful. This button here, you might notice that I think those are out slightly, and if you do, if I hold this that way, very little changes to our trims there, and you can see just here, you can see we've got a trim, because on steering you can see that's moved slightly there and also there. So steering trim, throttle trim, and that's about it. So yeah, there's a reasonable amount you can do with this. It's a little bit different than if you're using stuff like HTX. It says it's got a range of about 300 meters or more, which is going to be plenty for doing line of sight stuff. So the next thing I'm going to do is solder this wire in properly so I've got a proper readout so I can tell what's happening. Take it for a quick blast down the park and see how this thing works. So far it's you know, it doesn't feel as nice as the RadioMaster version, but it feels a lot nicer than generally the ones you get in the box, and we've got some nice telemetry showing through here so we can see what's going on. Hello, welcome to the rain. It's been raining for 4 days. This is lighter rain than it was and not quite as gaily, so let's give this thing a test. I've got the radio's covered in water. I don't think it's rated as being waterproof, but let's find out how it goes. I'm just going to have a quick blast and I'm going to go home. Whee, slideys. Seems to work quite well to me. 7.6 on the battery still. It's only a T-cell, so that's fun. That receiver's very exposed though, and it's not waterproof, so quite sure what will happen there. Whee! Big stick. Seems to have plenty of range, as much as I want anyway. Whee! Well, it's still working, but that ESC I've heard reboot several times. It is wet all over to the inside. Staying quite dry inside actually. So the ESC is okay, the motor's okay. The receiver is very wet though. So I think we'll call it quits there and get in and dry off, leaving this thing. Yay, we made it back, and the car and the radio is absolutely fine. I think we just got some water in the receiver and we're getting a funny signal to the ESC there. But we got to test it out and it works absolutely fine. That's about as much range as I would drive on a car, because I could just see it in the distance, this movement, and it didn't really show up on the camera much. And it works okay. It's always a little bit difficult to test out a radio that you haven't used before. So FlySky, the interface is unfamiliar. I don't know much about the AMP protocol, which is what it uses with its receivers, but it seems pretty good. It's got, I like the fact it had 2 freeway switches here, aside from a couple of momentaries and 1 potentiometer. Of course the MT12's got it beat. It's got more switches, more potentiometers. You can fit either 2 more switches here or this. It is quite big though. This felt pretty good. I like the fact we had some decent telemetry here. We had the RSSI to the car, so you can see if you're going out of range. We had some telemetry back. All you have to do is bind it with 2-way ANT, and that seems to work pretty easily. Wouldn't necessarily call it budget though. And now I don't like to talk about prices because prices change all the time, but currently this is about £70 on Banggood and this is 103, and that to me is like, I'd always take this because you know you can do a lot more with it. But certainly this is much better than those pack-ins you'll often get in those like ready to race cars. The only thing you might have to do with those like cars that just come all in one is swap the ESC unit out. They seem to always have like this joint ESC receiver all in one unit, so you can't just separate it out and change it. So I had to buy a new ESC for that car I was using in the video to make it work. Now, one thing about these two is they're both on Banggood, and part of the reason I'm making this video today is it is Banggood's 19th anniversary sale. So there's a sale on right now, so don't forget to check them out if you're in the market for anything. Well, pretty much anything they sell these days, don't they? Anyway, this was my review of the FlySky FS-G7P Plus radio, because it's a very easy name to remember. I hope that was helpful, and I will catch you next one. Bye for now.
Well, you've made it to the end of the video, so thanks once again for watching. If you like what you saw, then please consider subscribing, and if you really like what you saw, then be sure to check out the link to my blog for a variety of ways in which you can help support this channel.